The bliss of the abyss.
Once upon a time in a land far away, a poor farmer and his wife lived all alone. They were very lonesome.
The Bliss of the Abyss.
With Robert Newmark Jones. Good. Hello, welcome to another episode of The Bliss of the Abyss with your host, this man talking to you. I have been called Ruskin Denmark before. Ain't no problem with that. In fact, I quite like it when you call me Ruskin Denmark. My name is also Robert Newmark Jones, although what's in a name? Who decided that that was what I was called? I mean, sure, now it is what I'm called. There's no backing out of that, except to use a pseudonym, and that is why I am Ruskin Denmark. And now I've had a few people ask me, hey, why are you called Ruskin Denmark? To those people I say, mind your own goddamn business, okay? I don't ask you why you're called Ruskin Denmark. And they say, well, I'm not. And I say, yeah, because I am. Right? So, no, there's actually there's an interesting origin story as to how I became the superhero known as Ruskin Denmark. Basically, I fell into a vat of Ruskin Denmark juice and came out Ruskin Denmark. Okay, you got me. I'm lying. That isn't what happened. Basically, what happened is I ate a piece of radioactive Ruskin Denmark, and that is why I'm... Okay, fine, I'm lying again. Sure. My God. You're very, 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 very... So, I've had a lot of people tell me that this podcast doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and that they try and listen to it, and it's just like a caterwauling dog that's been left out in the sun all day and is severely dehydrated. And to those people I say, does that sound dehydrated to you? No. Because dehydration is the lack of liquid. Hey, liquid. Liquid. Liquid, lick-a-woe, lick-a-boo, lick-a-doo, lick-a-dee, lick-a-dee. What's going on, dude? What's happening? How are you? How are you? How have you been feeling? Are you okay? Am I okay? Thanks for asking. I'm doing all right, yeah. Had a bit of a lost week. You know, not really sure what happened. Lots of ups and downs. I think I've got a full-blown alcohol problem. So this week, cold turkey. Where does that come from? Where does the expression cold turkey come from? So people don't know. Why is that always the case with these strange bits of language that have made their way into our actual lexicon? Why don't people know? Scholars of 19th century British periodicals have pointed to the UK satirical magazine Judy as the true catalyst of cold turkey's evolution in meaning. The journal issue of January the 3rd, 1877 featured the fictional diary of one John Humes, Esquire. The diary's transcript on the day in question details Mr. Humes' exploits over his Christmas holiday. Throughout, Humes demonstrates a humbug attitude, complaining to every shopkeeper and acquaintance about the irony of the words merry and jolly being attached to the season. Most significantly, Hume is invited to stay at his cousin Clara's as part of her household celebrations. Hume, the miser to the core, is shocked that Clara serves him slices of literal cold turkey with his pudding and other side dishes on the evening of his arrival. With his pudding. Pudding! I'm guessing they don't mean dessert, because pudding is one of those words that's like congee, right? Like you can have rice pudding, you have to have a savoury pudding. I assume that's what they mean. That he's not having turkey with his fruit. A poor substitute for the roasted and dressed kind of turkey is the continually played up implication in the comedy piece. The dissatisfied barrister stays several days nonetheless, and with each passing day he is more and more shocked that the cold turkey finds its way onto his plate again. Finally, Hume arrives home, utterly disgusted at having been treated so badly. By the way, he fucking stayed for quite a few days, didn't he? And was fed and watered and sheltered. Fucking John Humes. Also, I don't like how they've suddenly started referring to him as Hume throughout. Is it Hume or Humes? Make your mind up, or Wikipedia. Make your mind up, Wikipedia. Anyway, he arrives home, utterly disgusted. He calls for his estate lawyer and chops Clara completely out of his will and testament. So that kind of spreads around London, Great Europe, the US, about Humes having given Clara the cold turkey treatment, as in excluding and excommunicating someone, taking Clara out of his will, in order to exact revenge for the person's ongoing ill treatment of oneself, the repeated serving of the cold turkey. Hey, John Humes, just say something. There's every fucking problem in history, apart from World Wars 1 through 3, could have been solved if people just had a chat. Just have a little talk, yeah? Fucking hell. And maybe Clara would be rolling in it. The next known earliest print appearance of cold turkey in its exclusionary sense dates to 1910. Canadian poet Robert W. Service. Once I used to gamble and drink the limit. One morning I got up from the card table after sitting there 36 hours. I'd lost $5,000. I knew they'd handed me out cold turkey. I should do that in a Canadian. Once I used to gamble and drink the limit. That's not a Canadian accent at all. What is that? I used to gamble and drink the limit. One morning I got up from the card table after sitting there 36 hours. It's not an accent at all. That's not an accent that exists on planet Earth. You're an idiot. Also, that's not how we use the term cold turkey. Where is the fucking earliest thing about drugs? A term appears in its contemporary usage in December 1920 New York City Medical Bulletin. Some addicts voluntarily stop taking opiates and suffer it out, as they express it without medical assistance, a process which in their slang is called taking cold turkey. Okay, yeah. Well, that doesn't answer really my question, but now I have some vague knowledge that I can just spread around and pass off as fact and being interesting and interested when we are allowed to see or touch people again, which, as I understand it, and again, not a doctor, just an enthusiast, as I understand it, will be when the singularity takes place in 2050. I would say, welcome to Etymology Cast, as is my wont. As listeners of this show will know, my one joke that I'm able to do is saying welcome to, and then I will repeat something I said quite recently. That's how comedy works. But if you like etymology, please listen to my friend Alex Morgan's podcast. It's the Linguophiles podcast. And if you can't spell that, you're probably not going to be interested in what the podcast has to say. But it's all about the mysterious and wonderful world of language. And Alex is a real mensch, a great dude. So listen, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Yeah. So I don't know how we got onto cold turkey. And quite frankly, I don't care. That's not what's going on here. Me caring about how we got onto things. Welcome to Rob Doesn't Care About How We Got Onto Things. Presented by Ruskin Denmark. Rob, do you care how we got onto things? Yes. Really? Did you speak to the producer about coming on the show? Because you know what the show's called, right? It's the Jimmy Fallon Show, isn't it? Yes. Speaking of cold turkey, are you ready for another installment of the Big Bay Theory? The Big Bay Theory. The Big Bay Theory. Yeah. Booyakasha. Welcome to the Big Bay Theory, hosted by your host, Tom Goose, The Goose Man. Yeah. Yo, I'm the Goose Man. Hi, I'm the Goose Man. That's a man that's part goose. Google Goose Man, you'll get what? Min Lee, also known by his online nickname Goose Man. Oh, he created a Half-Life mod. Well, Tommy G. Guzman. Well, who's Guzman? I'll probably cut all this. Oh, yeah, the drug lord. So, I seem to be pissing off all the most powerful people in the world. He's known as El Chapo. So Guzman is El Chapo. So welcome to the Big Bay Theory, hosted by El Chapo. Last time I spoke to you, we were at 9 Bay ramen levels. And it was a complete success. And this week, we got up to 10. And it was a disaster. I mean, I've never tasted something so delicious. Take that in your eye, Big Bay. Wait, Rob, remember how the Big Bay Theory works? We're trying to create Big Bay. There is no Big Bay to fight against. I know, I just have this sort of rebellious streak inside me and I kind of can't get rid of it. I think it probably stems back to childhood when, okay, you're going to have to pay me if you want that kind of support. This is the Big Bay Theory, hosted by El Chapo Guzman. So stay on topic, yeah? 10 leaves in a slow cook pork ragu. Ooh, what's that like? It was good. It was really good. When you cook something for a long time, it either burns, disappears, or becomes delicious. And I'm happy with one of those outcomes. Yeah, so... I mean, at this point, my bay tree is kind of starting to look a little bit thin. You know, my wanton harvesting of its bounteous crop has left it barren and sad. And I am not going to stop because I'm a scientist. And that's not how we do things. Yep. Science can't rest. However, science can't rest. However... in an extended little treat as part of the Big Bay Theory, we have had some correspondence over here at Big Bay from Barnaby Griffin. Dear the Bliss of the Abyss, following on from your bay leaf theory, side note, it's called the Big Bay Theory, not hard to get right, I decided to run a little experiment of my own by way of inserting 20 bay leaves deep inside my anus. Pause. Now, firstly, he said leaves, not leaves. I'm doing him a solid there by reading it out properly. Secondly, you trying a big game me? 20 bay leaves? 20 bay leaves? How loose are you down there, my boy? What's been going on? Quarantine been getting to you? Each day, I put in a finger and a piece of forest. And that's not how he talks. But for the purposes of this, it is how he talks. Barnaby continues, it is day 4, and I can remember 20 bay leaves. It is day 4, and I can safely report no ill effects as yet, but I shall be closely monitoring the situation. Yours scientifically, Barnaby Griffin. So he can't spell his own name. Now we have had our scientists respond, Dear Barnaby, duly noted. We will add this research to the file. I'm sure we will get to the bottom of this, pun intended. Yours, etc., TBOTA. This was 5 days ago. He says he intends to remove them on day 10, by which time he believes they will be ready. I don't know what ready necessarily means. Barnaby, the anus and associated rectum, lower colon. Hey, Colin, little bit lower, little bit lower, little too low. Yeah. You're just trying to do a caloric, a bay leaf caloric. Oh my God, that's what Bay needs to look into next. None of that coffee enema. You don't want your butthole smelling of coffee. Gross. A nice bay-y butt. Bay-y. That's a piece of language that doesn't quite work, does it? Bay-y. A bay butt. Just sounds like I don't know how to say a word that is in a foreign language. Foreign. Anyway, listen, that's all we've got time for this week on the Big Bay Theory. Next week, if I'm still alive, 11 bay leaves. Of course, an unlucky number, or is it a lucky number? 11 can also represent sin, transgression, and peril. According to who? Fuck off. You know what? I'm not even going to look at whatever that bullshit was. I'm not even going to look at whatever that bullshit was. I don't need to. Why is it that you're not able to carry more things than 2 at one time? I'm sick of it. I'm always trying to just at least carry 4 things, stack one on top of the other and sort of balance it and go up. And then a door appears, you got both hands, and you really don't want to put something down. You just don't want to have that extra bit of admin to vanquish. And so you try and use a hip or your ass or your elbow, and something will slide off. And usually the thing that slides off has got multiple things inside of it. And you just, fuck you. How was everyone's weekend then? Did you get out? Did you go and see some stuff? It's beautiful weather over here in London, England. We had a little bit of a mini heat wave. We were actually Zooming with our friends in America. And it was sort of 10:30 here at night, so 5:30 over there, I think. We actually started before that, and it was markedly hotter here than there. They're actually going to have some May snow because of the polar vortex. Snow in May. Whoo! No, thank you very much. But it was beautiful here, and quite frankly, it's clear that the public have given up with COVID lockdown. I mean, yeah, they're just... What was nice is that feeling on the streets of the tension had pretty much, not completely gone, pretty much gone. But obviously there was still people out there a bit on edge, and lots of masks and some people social distancing. But I'm talking about, it was busy. We was fucking busy wherever we went. But you do have to say, look, given what the initial sort of predictions were, which were millions and millions of people dead, weren't they? Or have I been reading bullshit on the internet? We're now at 4.2 million cases, 284,000 deaths. What is that as a percentage? That's 6.75% of all the cases result in death. It's not good, is it? But then again, is it any worse than anything else? I don't know. I'm starting to feel like a lot of people have thought it can't be that bad. There's a lot of conflicting stuff out there. And obviously there's all those horrible cases of people who get it and suffer and die, and we're not sure how to treat it, and they die alone, and that's just so terrible and sad. I've got a very, very close friend of mine whose mother-in-law is in a hospice, and she's unable to go and see her, and she's got hardly any time left. But she's not in a hospice with COVID. It's just the situation is that you're not really allowed to go and see those people. And it feels like there should be a safe way of allowing her to see her mum before she dies. It feels like there should be a safe way of doing it, and currently there isn't. And I don't know how they can fix that, but they need to. Look, I'm not obviously coming at it with any answers here, but I just feel like this is such a huge thing now worldwide that we really don't have any idea what's going on with it. There's so much misinformation out there, and from what I've seen of this last weekend, just people are just fed up with it, and they're just starting to fucking go about their business instead. And I can sympathize with them on that one hand, but please, if you're going to go out and do that, just if you're going to be around a lot of people, wear a mask. If you've got to touch all kinds of things for your jobs, wear some gloves, please, just for now. We'll understand more about this further on down the line. But, this isn't, it's not a joke, this thing. And the impact upon our lives is not funny either. I know I make jokes about it, but I think everyone around the world is so eager to ease restrictions, to get out of lockdown, and I totally understand why. And I just wonder if we ease restrictions, like, okay, South Korea, Okay, I can't find the thing. And maybe this is fake news, so take it with a pinch of salt. Again, I'm not a doctor, just an enthusiast. But there was a massive spike, or at least a relatively high spike, given how well South Korea has been at flattening the curve. But yeah, they eased a lot of their restrictions, and apparently they had a huge new outbreak because someone who was infectious just decided to go out, and then obviously that just spreads like wildfire. But what can we do about that? As soon as you ease I mean, we haven't even really eased restrictions here, and people are already just kind of done with it. You know, as soon as you actually officially start to ease restrictions, you're gonna see people out there just going out, even if they know they're sick. I mean, that was already a thing before, wasn't it? People would come to work. They'd be like, they'd have the flu, they'd have a cold, and they would just come to work with it. And they'd be like, no, I'm fine, I can work through. And part of that is because maybe they didn't have enough of a safety net, you know, in terms of insurance, or part of it is social pressure. People look at people who stay at home and judge them, even if they are sick. You know, it's like, how sick are you? And I don't know. I don't know. This isn't really why you come to this show, to hear this, but I'm struggling with what to do here. We're in, I think, the 7th or the 8th week of lockdown, and you know, when are things gonna get back to any near type of semblance of reality? It just, look at people. The countries have opened. As soon as anywhere opens, you're going to get a spike. That's just going to happen. More people are going to go out. People are asymptomatic. People don't care. There's all kinds of reasons people are going to go out. But for God's sake, as soon as that happens and we get a spike, what will happen then? Just another lockdown? Is that the answer? Is lockdown going to actually solve it? And, you know, as long as the government are sort of giving support and stuff, I guess you can say it's at least viable for the average person. But are they going to continue that support? I know as a self-employed person, there's constant threats to that. And are they gonna support the businesses who already, lots of these businesses have closed down? And how viable is that whole thing anyway? Are we gonna have to pay for this somewhere down the line, like we did for the fucking 2008 bullshit, where we bailed out the banks? Why aren't we bailing out the small businesses instead of giving them loans? All of the businesses that have struggled to get loans, and what's phase one is opening garden centres, and that's it. I don't see how we're going to survive this if we continue this way. And I mean, of course we'll survive. Of course we will. We personally will. But so many things that we took for granted are gone. I don't know. Sorry, it's a bit doom and gloom. I'll cut out some of this. But of course, it does lead other people to, you know, make ridiculous claims. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, I've been sort of just mainly following the government briefings and reports from, like, you know, leaks and people who I know who have access to information about what's going on. But I tell you what, I did a deep dive on the web the other day to look into some of these COVID conspiracies, right? And I joke about it every week, you know, COVID, as I understand it. I'm making light of what is obviously a terrible situation, but there are some fucking nut jobs out there. This video, Plandemic, which has been doing the rounds, and oh my God, quick, watch it before it's taken down. And it's Plandemic, you know, already. Like, I mean, when I say, you know, and all of this is just because, as I understand it, and again, not a doctor, just an enthusiast, but as I understand it, this all started because Kim Jong-un is actually Xi Jinping. They switched. They did a face-off many years ago, much like the movie Face-Off, featuring Nicolas Cage et al., which means and al, right? So actually, for years, Kim has been Xi, and Xi has been Kim, and I have been you, and you have been me. And so because of that, that's why they're so closely in bed together. And so actually, Wuhan is a simulation of the whole of North Korea. So what Kim has been doing is testing out crazy new theories, such as, can a bat and a pangolin be mates? Can they text each other? Can they 69? Can they do math problems? The answer to all of these things is no. But what they can do is shit on top of each other and eat that shit. And if you do that, That's what leads to the novel coronavirus, aka COVID-19. Again, not a doctor, just an enthusiast. Now, how ridiculous does that sound? Okay. Now, go on the internet and look up the conspiracy theories. I'm not going to repeat them here. Plandemic has probably been taken down, banned. It's jaw-dropping, the shit people believe just because they want to. It's oh so clear that it's just because they want to. Fauci is in Big Pharma's pocket. Plandemic, you know? You know what the fucking conspiracy theory I want to know the answer to is? Why did I fucking build a green screen in my room to teach online? Why did I do that? As soon as I did it, you know what happened? The Chinese company stopped giving me money. And by China, I mean North Korea, apparently. Yeah, I can't get any work on this stupid platform. They're like, they book you for hours at a time. And I was like, oh, great, I've got all these hours making money, 2 cents an hour. But it wasn't working. I reached out to them. I was like, I've got all these lessons, but they're not working. They're like, booked doesn't mean scheduled. Booked actually means non-booked. You need to schedule a lesson in order for it to be scheduled. And they went, oh, that is clear. Thank you. That's clear. That's why I've got this fucking green screen behind me that I drilled into my wall. That's good. That's really good. I've got that now. Completely pointless. But yeah, I'm not going to bang on about coronavirus anymore, but there's got to be some way out of it that's just, I wonder if we'll look back on all this and think it was an overreaction or not. I don't know. Because how can they be closing some hospitals? You know, that Nightingale one in London, how can they be closing it? How does that make sense? I don't know. Again, not a doctor, just an enthusiast. You know what it feels like? My mum said this. It feels like, right, we've been sent to our rooms and we don't know why. That's what it is, really. We've been sent to our rooms and we don't know why. And you know what I thought it was like? It's like, when you're in school and the whole class is macking about. Terry's got his knob out. Craig stabbed his friend with a compass. Someone's shouting, "Oi, miss, show us your tits." People are throwing paper aeroplanes. Someone's opened the fucking window. Someone's got their belly out. And it's just absolute pandemonium, right? It's like that. No, it's not like that. What it's like. Hold on, that made sense. Okay, so in that case, the whole class get detention, yeah? But I always thought, whenever that happened, there are always one or two or however many people just sort of sat there really actually not wanting to engage in the mayhem at all. And they're just sat there sort of, maybe they're trying to get on with their work, or maybe that's impossible given whatever the situation going on is, but they get in trouble too. It's like, right, the whole class, detention. And I feel like that's the situation we're in, right? We didn't have these ridiculous wet markets with animals being sold. Look at the, science. And again, I'm not a doctor, just an enthusiast, but science has known for a long time that if you keep animals in really unsanitary conditions in close quarters, it's a bad idea. Disease is going to happen, especially across different types of species. So even in those big, horrible factory farms where they're kept in the most god-awful conditions, they are, pumped to the gills with drugs to stop them getting or spreading infection. But also, it's only animals of one type that they keep together. And there's a reason for that. Whereas in these crazy live wildlife wet markets, they just got them higgledy-piggledy on top of each other. I've been to China. I've seen some of these wet markets. It's nuts what you can buy. I remember seeing one. They had live seahorses on skewers that were sort of wriggling around. I was like, what is going on? But I've never seen something on the scale of, if you look up the Hunan seafood wholesale market, there's a list, right, According to media reports, besides seafood, various food items sold at the market include badgers, bamboo rats, beavers, camel, chickens, civets, crocodiles, donkeys, Emmental cheese, foxes, frogs, giant salamanders, hedgehogs, herbs, marmots, ostrich, otters, pangolins, disputed, peacocks, pheasants, pigs, porcupines, rabbit organs, sheep, snakes, spices, spotted deer, turtles, vegetables, wolf puppies, crab, shrimp, striped bass, bats. Now you can't just fucking put those things. You can't put those things on top of each other in small cages. That will fuck us. That will lead to the spread of disease. We have known this. Science knows this. It's not like this was unknown before this. It's just that people were choosing to ignore it, and people who spoke out about it were silenced. That's not a conspiracy. Fucking 3 doctors in Russia jumped, quote unquote, jumped out of the window in the last few weeks. It was maybe even more last few days, because they had spoken out. One of them had spoken out about coronavirus, then the next day issued a video retracting it, and then the day after jumped out of a window, or was he pushed? We got this whole clamping down on people just saying the truth is ridiculous. And it just leads to more conspiracies. And then these conspiracy people are like, the truth, can you handle it? And it's so infuriating to see the amount of bullshit that spreads. And I know some conspiracies have been proven to be true. Conspiracies do happen, okay? 9/11, even if you don't, let's say that the official narrative is completely true. Well, that is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy that worked. They conspired to blow up the buildings, whoever they are. Let's just say it's the people on board the plane even. Let's get it down to its most basic level. We don't have to implicate any other governments, any world leaders, any grand plan. Just some people conspired to pull it off, and they did. So we don't need that for coronavirus. What we do need, and why we feel like the whole class is in trouble, is because we know we're not allowed to fucking get our dick out in school. We know you're not allowed to stab someone with a compass. You're not allowed to throw paper aeroplanes at the teacher. You're not allowed to tweak your friend's nipple. We know that, and sometimes we do it anyway, but now the whole class are in trouble, and it's not my fault, it's Craig's. But miss, why do I have to stay behind? I didn't do anything. Speaking of which, did you see what Elon Musk named his kid? X-A12. X being the symbol, the mathematical symbol for the unknown variable. A, as in the word, the letters A and E joined together. Apparently it's pronounced ash. And then A-12 for Archangel 12, which is an aircraft, a supersonic aircraft. I mean, fuck off. Fuck off. That is not a name for a kid. Is that legal? Are they allowed to put that on? Are you allowed to have? I mean, it's got punctuation. Is your name allowed to have punctuation? I mean, I guess. Like, people have surnames with punctuation, don't they? Like a dash or a hyphen. Are there any other bits of punctuation allowed in a surname? I don't think so. Big questions, though. These are the big questions we're asking on the Bliss of the Abyss. And I tell you who seems to be listening to this show. Crystalia, famous comedian. The day after I dropped last week's episode, when I recreated the Christian Bale meltdown, Crystalia's Congratulations podcast then did a whole bit on it, playing the whole thing. I mean, hey, Chris, it's not too original, bro. Hey, Chris, send us some bags. Hey, Chris, you my baby? You my baby? Okay. Tell you what I can say is that it's now official. I'm allowed to say this, that Trafalgar Studios, where One Jewish Boy was playing before COVID-19, what's that? Close everything down. They are going to amalgamate their 2 spaces into one. They've been granted planning permission. So that means that we were the last show ever in that space. There will be no more Trafalgar Studios 2. We killed the fucker. We closed it down. It's done. It's gone forever. Wow, your show was so good that they completely closed the venue after you and turned it into something else. Yeah. They were like, well, we'll never have a better show in here. We'll never be able to top that. So, ain't that a bitch? So we got nowhere to call home now. But then again, I mean, I feel sort of two things about that. It's bittersweet, isn't it? It's kind of, we're a piece of history. We were the last show ever. And then it's also like, yeah, but now we just don't have a venue, even if shows do come back. Whenever shows come back, if you listen to the bigwigs, it's not soon. Let's put it that way. So instead, we're all having to try and instead people in the arts, instead people in theatre, TV, film, all that kind of stuff. We're all just trying to find different ways to make things work. And I can't get on board with the, theatre streamed into your living room stuff. It feels like a pale imitation of the real thing. And I love movies and I love theatre, but you can't watch theatre at home as if it's a movie. It doesn't work. It just feels like a different thing. It just doesn't feel the same. You don't have the buzz. You don't have that buzz of a crowd, of the energy, of the feedback loop of performer and audience and the occasion of the whole thing. And when are we going to get that back? When is that back? We don't know. We're stuck. But yeah, people are done. People are done with it, and they can't be done with it, and it's going to be around. Tell you one thing I've been doing a bit since quarantine. I've been playing a bit of poker online with my mates. Poker with my mates. You know that? Poker with your mates. Yeah, I've been playing poker with my mates. Not that I ever win, because it's ridiculous, but it's fun. Or so I thought, until I played with my friend Peter and some of his friends. Shout out, Peter Man! And this was far from a fun experience because, okay, so poker online, you have to have a countdown timer because otherwise people will take forever to make their turn. And, if that happens every single turn, then the whole game just is shot. So you need to have some instruction, some arbitrary limit. So if I ask you, dear listener, what would your limit be if you were trying to play a game of poker on the internet against your friends and you have to have a timer, right? So you might think 10 seconds is fair, but then again, think about it. 10, 9, 8, 7. By 7, have you really worked out what the best move to make is with your cards? Maybe. Probably not. For most people, you want to at least consider a few ins and outs. You look at how much everyone's got. What have they been betting recently? What are the odds that what I've got is better than him? What's the spread here? Is that bridgeable? So it's just there's an amount of time. Let's say you get 30 seconds. And if you're playing with people it's not just some bot or some unknown who's just going to time out the whole time. You can at least roast them. You can josh them. You can push them. But we played a game and it was a 10-second timer. And it was just ridiculous. I was talking to my friends online about we've got a poker group. And I was saying, why is the timer so fast? It's pretty intense. I can barely think. It's like poker on meth. This is mental. And he says, well, we can't change it now. Get in the Zoom. It's jokes. And I said, yeah. I'm just getting less naked. Hold on. I don't fucking have a chance to get dressed before I have to go again. This is absolutely insane. He was like, sorry, normally we have double the time. My other friend said, you don't even have time to write the word time. Dude, this is messing with my mind. See, I'm starting to lose the plot here. It's the fucking wild, wild west. And he's like, well, it's evening for us and tomorrow is a public holiday. I go, okay, no wonder. Meanwhile, it's mid-afternoon here. Y'all be on crack, bruh. This is an overwhelming experience. I feel like I'm going to have PTSD after this. Hang in, bro, he says. I go, mate, I wouldn't call this an enjoyable experience. It's like having fucking diarrhea. And he goes, oh yeah, you rebought. Clearly you want more. Anytime I turn my head, I've got to make a split-second decision on a fortune. I can't even process what the winning hand was before the next round begins. I'd just like a nice relaxed game like gentlemen. Oh, I think I just won a hand, but who can tell? That was 10 seconds ago, aka a lifetime. I feel like my heart's going to explode. I feel nauseous. I need fresh air. This is mental. Who am I playing against, by the way? Are all these guys in finance too? I'm a fucking actor, mate. And Peter goes, well, that dude is in construction. I go, yeah. What, as a fucking CEO of a construction corporation? He says, yeah. Yeah. Poker on meth. I would not recommend it. It cost me 24 quid that. But I came 7th, which isn't bad, out of 25 I think we started with. 2 tables. I wasn't even on the same table as my mate when we were playing. There were so many people. It was split into tables. And we got one hand together before I went out and he beat me on the river. This is all very technical, I know. The river? What's the river? Why, it's the 5th card. Yeah. You don't get it. I'm claustrophobic, Darren. I'm claustrophobic, Darren. You don't get it. Just heard my neighbour yelling that the other day. Oh, and all my neighbours just, well, not all of them, but a load of my neighbours were just outside on the green patch in front of the house, just having a party all day on Friday. No social distancing, just chilling, listening to music, drinking. People are done with it. I'm telling you, people are done. What's going to happen? People are done. And it's a COVID-heavy episode, I guess. Let's try and change tack here. I've got some recommendations for you. So I already recommended my friend Alex Morgan's podcast, Linguophiles. Also listen to a new album by a band called Blue Stocking. It's called Algedonic. They're an amazing band, and the album is fucking great. I particularly really enjoy the first track. Which I believe is Rhyme. Really good stuff. Yeah, give them a listen to. They are on Spotify, of course. Shout out Blue Stocking. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Algedonic, where is it? Pertaining to both pleasure and pain. Interesting. How do I pronounce it? Algedonic. Hey Vlad. Just come up here quickly. I know you're in the huff. I know you got the hump, and you said you didn't want to be on my show this week. Yeah. But can you just come in here and tell me how to pronounce this word, please? Wow, I didn't know you could just walk through closed doors like that. How the fuck do you do that? Jesus Christ. Do you do that when me and Caitlin are in bed and you just stand there watching? You creep. How do I pronounce this word? Okay. All right, Vlad. You can walk just backwards through doors. Okay, he can just walk backwards through doors as well. That's nice. That puts you at ease, doesn't it? Puts you at ease. Tell you what, he's been really, really rude recently. I think something's got to him. Maybe he's got a touch of the Rona. I don't know. I made him a stir fry the other day and he just looked at it and wept. So, good times. Speaking of which, my final recommendation for this week is the film Good Time, released in 2017. It's by the same brothers who did Uncut Gems, the Safdie brothers. It's a fantastic movie. Again, only about an hour and a half, starring Robert Pattinson, who is good. Challenge. Robert Pattinson is a very good actor. Watch The Lighthouse as well. Very good actor. Never seen any Twilight. Don't know. Don't care. Have you ever heard Robert Pattinson talking about Twilight? This is so funny.
Did your Twilight experience turn out to be what you expected?
Oh, when I read it, it seemed like it was a book that wasn't supposed to be published.
Were you happy with your pay?
I don't know. Could have been better. my entire performance is based on having extreme discomfort, having contact lenses in your eyes. So it's kind of a mixture of looking like slightly constipated and stoned.
What do you think about pansexual?
I would like to break the hands and mouth of the person who came up with it.
Which one of your coworkers helped to make your Twilight experience the most rewarding?
So Dick. So Dick.
Huh. My, oh, I can't think of anything.
No one.
I would say, SK2 face packs.
Millions of Twilight fans out there just cannot wait to see this. It's very almost heartbreaking because they don't want it to be over.
Yeah.
It's a little bittersweet, isn't it? For them, yeah.
For them. Yeah, so that's the movie Good Time. A bank robber stops at nothing to free his brother from prison, launching himself into a night-long odyssey through New York's dark and dangerous criminal underworld. It's spectacular. It's a great movie. All right, that's all we've got time for this week. I don't think it was as funny this week. Was it ever funny? Was it ever funny? Listen, thank you so much, everybody who's listening. It really, it's really meaning the world to me that I'm putting this nonsense out there, and some people seem to be enjoying it. It's in this creative lockdown time, it's providing a really valuable outlet for me to not go completely mad. I know you must think I am already completely mad because you've listened to this show, but trust me completely mad is a level step above, below, to the side, all around. I don't know which direction it is, but whichever direction it is, I've not taken that step because of this and because of you guys and because of a lot of other people and reasons. And I can't go into all of them now because they're giving me the wrap-up sign. I get it. Okay, I haven't just won an Oscar yet. But yeah, seriously, thank you so much for listening. Take care. Take a friend to the cinema when it reopens. Surprise someone you love. Do something nice. Use an act of service. Be good. Be helpful. Be loving. Be kind. Be brave. I will see you on the other side of this, and I will see you next week. Mwah! Thank you for listening to the show. That was The Bliss of the Abyss. All music provided by the incredibly talented Nils Hennis Steer. If you have anything you'd like to say, positive or negative, send it to theblissoftheabyss@gmail.com, and I'll see you soon.
Message 1. Hey, Nils, it's me. She's calling to see if maybe you're in now, but I guess not, so I guess I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. to you then. Bye.